What's up, everybody? Welcome back yet again to another Tuesday edition of the Dirty and Driven Podcast. My name is James Deviney. I am your host on this fine, beautiful day. Today, I'm joined, as per usual, by my co-host, the man, the myth, the talent, Mr. Casey D.
How are you?
And today, we're here to continue our mission of bringing people to the blue-collar world, teaching them how to kick ass. As we always do, we want to gain, train, and retain solid people in the trades.
And normally on Tuesdays, we do that by entertaining.
Entertaining. We're here to entertain you, hopefully. Guys, if you're new here, we got two show types, Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesday is a little more laid back, goofy, fun. Friday is more interview style with the guest. If you want to learn, get a lot of value, those are for you. On Tuesdays, we try to add a little bit of value, but I don't know how much we always add. But you at least laugh. Be sure to give us a 5-star review if you like the show, guys. Casey, I think both of us been running and gunning this weekend, man. What have you been up to?
Yep, went down to Big Spring, Texas. Had to take down a new truck for our son. My wife followed me. Big Spring is about 7.5 hours away from here, from Ponca. And it's just to the west of Odessa in Midland, Texas. And that is the Permian Basin where all the oil field play is. And I'll tell you what, dude, we have a little taste of it here with the refinery. Mm-hmm. Seeing all the trucks and all the blue-collar men and women who help bring in the energy across the world. You get down there, dude, and all it is F-150s, 250s, 350s, dualies, weld trucks for days, and you don't realize just how many people are involved in bringing the energy to us.
Dude, it's crazy. You go down there, and there's a lot of kids that are 20, 21, 22 years old, and they've got like an F-350 Platinum jacked up freaking crazy ass truck just because they go down there and they can make so much money doing that stuff.
Dude, if you were single or not, but ideally if you're single, have zero responsibilities, i.e. kids or family, and you're obviously young or old, dude, that is the play, man. Mm-hmm. Get in on some of that action and make it while you can. Bunk up with 2 or 3 people where you split the bills, get your per diem, pocket that shit.
Be smart about it, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, so many of those guys, too, they go and they do that, and then I've seen so many kids freaking my age, like, especially when I turned 21, a lot of guys went up that way, and, you know, they'd come back, you know, oh, yeah, I'm making all this money. I just bought this new $25,000 jet ski and a brand new truck and a brand new this and a brand new, and you're like, dude, you're financing all this shit and that money's going to dry up because, I mean, you know, the oil field, when it's good, it's great. But when it's not great,
yeah,
it sucks. But, yeah, no, it's definitely if you can get down there and make some money, it's a good place.
Yeah, we stayed at a hotel at Big Spring called the Settles, Settles. Dude, it was like an old school hotel. But, man, it was badass. Just the whole feel of it was like a 1920s or 30s style feel, but all, you know, current. Obviously air conditioning and all that shit, but it was awesome, man.
Yeah, that's cool, dude.
Great time. Ate dinner with our son, and he's a welder for Hearst Construction that's here in Ponca. But they're down there, I think, doing a turnaround or something. I don't know if connected. There's a refinery down there, but then there's also, I think, maybe a carbon black plant. But anyway, they're down there.
Oh, okay.
Making the jack for 2 or 3 months.
Nice.
So here's the deal. He had just bought him a brand new vehicle, brand new truck. And the deal didn't get finalized for a day or two after he had bought it. and it had gotten finalized the day after he had to go down there and work 7.5 hours away for 2 months. So his brand new vehicle that he was going to be able to drive around and enjoy was sitting up here in Ponca away from him for 2 months, unless if somebody brought it to him.
Oh, dang.
So that's the reason why we took it down.
Okay, I was wondering.
And then plus the seam and stuff too. So
Yeah.
he paid for a badass steak dinner for us and paid for we had a nice snazzy room we stayed in.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Good time.
Yeah, then we ended up jetting on over to Grand Prairie, Texas, going to Ripley's, believe it or not.
Could you believe it?
I always wanted to go, man. I always watched the shows, but it was pretty cool. One cool thing that they had in there was they had like a small wax museum of different people. I showed you that picture with me and Elon Musk. Dude, a lot of the wax figures were terrible. The one that looked, I literally had to touch it, was Bill Gates. It was Bill Gates sitting there all creepy, you know. Like
Did he look like a reptilian lizard alien guy?
But I ain't kidding you, man. It was one of those. But you never know, man. You see sometimes, you know, you go into one of those places and there's one like real person in there hanging out.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, then the one person jumps out and gets you. That Bill Gates, I was like trying to play it off cool with my wife and my little guy. And I kind of walked slowly touched just to make sure it wasn't a real person.
Oh, you got to be careful getting too close, because if that was the real Bill Gates, you probably would have gotten vaccinated.
That's what I'm saying. He probably slid in some type of microchip that was on his clothes when I touched him that slid underneath my fingernail.
That's funny, dude.
Now I'm being tracked. I can be turned on and off.
I bet those wax museums have good AC.
I would think so. And who knows what kind of wax it is. But one thing about them wax museums, one thing you never know about that is when you see a figure on TV, a person you might idolize or not, you expect them being, William Wallace I heard he's 10 foot tall and killed 500 men, you know, with his pinky. You know, you imagine them being larger than life.
Yeah.
But when they make these figures, they make them to scale per history, right? And some of the ones that were really, I knew that Adolf Hitler was a smaller guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, they had Winston Churchill too. That was small, but they had Joseph Stalin, which Stalin was, you know, the USSR, I don't know what he's called, but during the World War II, it had, you know, all three of them there. And dude, Joseph Stalin, it looked like Joseph Stalin from, you know, back then, and it had FDR. Well, dude, Joseph Stalin dude, he looks like a big dude when you watch World War II footage, but he was the littlest one out of all of them. I was like, holy shit, dude, because he always looks big. Well, I ended up doing some research on him, and Joseph Stalin was anywhere from 5'3" to 5'5". So they had him probably 5'4", you know, at the wax museum. But anytime you watch any videos, he would surround himself with smaller men. Like no, I ain't shitting you, dude. It's all about perception. You know, when you walk in, that's why like Donald Trump, when he goes in, Donald Trump's 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". I mean, he's a bigger guy. I mean, he commands respect, you know, whether just by walking in, being a bigger figure, right? But Stalin and all these other leaders, they would surround themselves with smaller guys, and his head henchman, his head guy that would go and hang people and kill people, he made sure that he was even smaller than him.
Oh, geez.
And he had a nickname like, you know, the small henchman or something. And that guy was like 5'2". But then they also showed like the stuff that I read, they showed the shoes that he wore were, you know, 3 or 4 inch platform shoes. And anytime he talked, he'd be standing, you know, like on a pedestal to make him look larger. And it's just cool, the psychology behind the smaller statured guys trying to command respect.
Trying to take over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you go with the, you know, Napoleon Bonapartes and those type of guys that.
You know what? I'd be terrified is walking into one of those and it turns out it's a Brazilian wax museum.
Yeah, I set that one up, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. You just walk in, they just start ripping your leg hairs off.
But while on the drive, it's interesting to see gas stations, what they serve for snacks and road food when you go to different areas.
Oh, yeah.
And we started getting into a lot of Latino, Hispanic, you know.
Gas station tamales.
Yeah, or you know, like fruits or dried fruits and stuff. Well, they had these dried shrimp.
What?
Oh, dude, they were dried shrimp that we saw, and they had them with hot sauce. They're in these little bags. I took a picture of it. And
you didn't get any?
I bought it, you know, because I had to try it. My wife's like, "You ain't gonna try that guy?" Fuck, I'll try it. Well, there it is, right there. So
I have never seen such a thing.
yeah, this is called Parga Camarone Seco Botanero. That's the hot sauce. But anyway, those are all like little baby shrimp in there that are kind of fried with seasoning on it, or not fried but dried.
Y'all check this out on YouTube.
And they're kind of. My little man took a video of me eating one while I was driving. I opened that thing up, and you know it smelled like shrimp. Well, and they still had the heads on them and everything. They were the actual shrimp. And
Just like dehydrated shrimp.
yeah. So, dude, I bit into one, and unless if you had a few beers and you just didn't give a shit, dude, it was all I could do to choke that thing down, and that was the last one I ate.
I see that they don't sell those in a lot of places. So there's probably a reason for that.
Probably, but I was thinking that's probably the same thing with the crickets. You know how people eat crickets?
Yeah, you do see crickets a little more often. You see those. They used to have that at the Gasino just a little ways up the road.
Yeah.
They used to have crickets you could eat. Klaus Schwab wants us all to eat crickets.
And you would like it.
And you would like it.
You'll have nothing and you would like it.
Yeah.
Oh, but before, and back on that, and then we can get to you. Before I had those, we stopped right here where y'all are doing the construction on I-35 and Highway 60.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
And we stopped at the gas station that has the Taco Bell.
Yeah.
You know, the nice one there.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
And they had the deli all set up. They had, and these were a true 12 inches, if not 14-inch, big old. And the guy behind the counter, he said those were half-pound all-beef hot dogs.
Wow.
And dude, these things, I'm holding my hands up here. I ain't shitting you. They were 12 or 14 inches long, big old fat, and they were a half-pound all beef, and they kind of had like a breaded, you know.
Just a straight hog of a wiener.
Yeah, it wasn't a bun, but it was, you know, like flour that was kind of crisped around it.
Oh, like a, well, like kind of like a chicken fry type thing, or like a croissant.
Like a croissant.
So it was like a half-pound pig in a blanket.
Yeah, but dude, the thing was huge. So there were two left, and
Hog in a blanket.
Me and a colored shopper that was next to me and his wife. I was gonna get that, and then the guy next to me goes, "Hey man," he goes, "Hey, what's that right there?" And that's when the guy goes, "You know, that's a half pound all beef." And I go, "Hell yeah, dude!" I go, "Dude, that's what I'm getting." He goes, "Man," he goes, "I'm gonna get one too." And I put out my knuckles and I fist bumped him. I go, "Hell yeah, dude!" So we got the last two all beefs.
Dang, dude. Well, you know what that is I bet that truck stop owner listens to the Dirty and Driven podcast, and he understands people's frustration with chili cheese conies.
Dude, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, so then in order for it to fit in the bag, he goes, you can either cut it in half, you know, which it kind of psychologically hurt me whenever I thought about him cutting it in half, but he did. He cut it in half. That way it was easier to take out in the sack.
I believe they call that circumcision.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good, man. Good trip.
That's cool. That's good, man.
What about you?
Yeah, man. Went down to Dallas this weekend. So we were both in Texas, separate but never apart. I was with the boys over at Certified Wrench and On Grade. We recorded a show with Brandon, me, Colton, and Brandon, and Devin Boudreau. We did a show on the On Grade podcast in his studio. It was a great time, man. Just keep your eye out for it. I think it's actually coming out the day after this one. We kind of talk about some plans we have to kind of form a little bit of a group, get us all kind of connected together, and build a real kind of solid community for, you know, the people of the trades, you know, the people that are into our podcasts and stuff like that. Just a cool community that we can help people out. So that's kind of in the works, but it was cool to finally meet those guys in person. You know, I talk to those two dudes almost every single day. They've been integral in helping me. I've helped them some. You know, we just go back and forth, and we just have a lot of fun and talk all the time. And so it's cool to finally get to meet them in person. Colton pulled up on his Harley and then broke down, and I had to use my uncertified wrenches out of my tool roll to get him going again.
Did you have the tool roll?
I did, dude.
What did they think
well,
about
dude,
it?
the tool roll saved the day because, and I got something else on that tool roll here in a minute, but tool roll saved the day because I used to have a big toolbox in my truck was too big, so I took it out because people would be getting in there, and I'd have to put it in the. It's just a pain in the ass. Well, this tool roll fit all that crap in there, and then I'm able to put it under the seat now. So yeah, whenever he did that, I had all the tools he needed. It was a good time. I was able to save the mechanic.
Was it one of those deals like sometimes how they said that you don't want to meet your hero, or because when you met Colton and Brandon in real life, did they upset you, or was it better than you thought? Or
well, they say you don't want to meet your hero, but I think I lived up to their standards.
It was you for them, huh?
Yeah. No, it was a good time, man. Those guys, it's just cool. Like we were talking. You can spot fake people, man. Yeah. And those guys, they are the same dudes in person that they are on their shows and on Instagram and on TikTok and all that crap. Like, they're just, I don't know. It's like you walk in, doesn't feel like, I've never met this guy before. You walk in, it's just like, sup, dude? I mean, just like me and you. Like, it's just cool, man. Like, you talk to people every day, you listen to their shows, you know a lot about them, and you finally get to meet them, and you're like, oh, yeah. Doesn't skip a beat. So, it's pretty cool. But anyways, be looking for that. That was a fun show we did. We just bullshitted. It was just a good time, man. So anyways, that went on. Brandon slow smoked. Dude, get this. He slow smoked some cheeseburgers, right? You ever slow smoked a burger? Mm-mm. He cooked them at 180 degrees for 2 hours on a smoker. Dude, that was the juiciest damn burger I ever had in my life.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to try that.
Was it like an 80-20?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't ask. But it was good. I could tell you that much.
I know she had a couple hot dogs too.
I had a couple hot dogs on there, man. Mall beefs.
There you go.
In honor of you.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, dude. We are starting to make a name for ourselves in the hot dog space. A lot of people, I've had so many people reach out about fucking chili cheese conies this week. But, this is how I know we're making a difference in the world. We had a listener reach out the other day and said, let me just find this screenshot here. I sent it to you. She says she's an accountant, and she said, y'all inspire me to come up with new ways to explain construction accounting in terms of chili cheese conies. So I know we're making a difference in this world, man. One coney at a time.
Yeah, you got to talk in a language that the people around you are going to understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't talk all adult-like to a 3 or 4-year-old. You got to speak on their level.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about accounting. I'm really bad at it. As I've stated several times on this show, I really rely on other people in the accounting department because it just doesn't make sense in my head. I mean, I understand cash in, cash out. I'm like Ron Swanson. A business should be as easy as I have 5 apples. I sell you 5 apples. You pay me for those 5 apples. That is all. Like that's me, man. Like that, and then you got all this other crap and tax write-offs and this and that and it's just like, whew. It's hard to understand, really. I mean, I can read a financial sheet. I can look at all that. I can understand how, if I'm making money, losing money, that type of stuff. But just putting it all in there, it makes no sense to me. I did not do well in my college accounting class.
Dude, I was in accounting in high school, and I did not study. I crammed. I always cheated, this and that, And I was in accounting, and it was last second trying to get your work in, and they made me sit in the front row, which I always loved sitting in the back row, but the teacher made me sit in the front row, and I was trying to scramble to get my work done, and she called me out. She saw that I was doing a last-second deal, and she called me out in front of the class, and my dumb ass in front of the whole class. I said, accounting is a bunch of shit. And I said it real loud, and rightfully, she pretty much grabbed me by my ear and took me out to the hallway. And I didn't get suspended, but I had a good talking to.
Yeah.
In hindsight, looking at that little situation and the way I viewed accounting was the total wrong way to look at it, because accounting is very vital and very necessary for everything we do, business-wise, tax-wise, all-wise. It's the opposite of accounting is a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I was such an idiot, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was all self-induced. It was me just not putting forth the effort, just trying to glide by.
Yeah, I put in the effort. It was hard for me, man. It really was. I had a friend who was who was an accounting major, and dude, I had him over at my house like every day. I was like, dude, I need your help. I played rugby with him, and he was like, dude, okay. And so we did it, and he's like, man, he's like, this shit's even hard for me, and I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, it's tough. So anyways, but yeah, dude, check out that podcast with those guys. It's a good time.
That's the On Grade.
On Grade. Yeah. And we'll probably at some point air that podcast on this. Some week whenever I forget to have someone on, then I'll probably just recycle that.
There you
one.
go.
Yeah, it was a good show. So, but I don't want to post it at the same time because because we have so many overlapping listeners, which is what's so cool about our community is, a lot of people who listen to our show, listen to his show and Colton's show and everything. So they all kind of mesh together. So I don't want to scare people off by them. I already listened to this, but give it a few weeks or a couple months or something and reuse it and still be just as funny then. So, anyways, I was saying, speaking of Tool Roll, we had our Instagram giveaway. We did that the other day, ended Friday, and it went out to Ben. I'm going to probably butcher his last name. Parmalee, I believe is how it's pronounced. He won the Tool Roll, Dirty and Driven shirt, stickers, all that.
It was something American or something.
American period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for entering. And thanks to everybody who entered, man. There was a lot of people that entered. We gained a lot of followers from that. And so it was worth our while for sure. We've got well over 1,000 now, and that's pretty cool, man. And we've just been growing steady ever since that. So thanks everybody for the love. I'm happy to do this giveaway, to give away the Tool Roll and the shirt. And I mean, yeah, it's cool. I'm really happy that we've gained some more followers, hopefully some more listeners. So yeah, thanks for that. Also, dude, speaking of hot dogs, last show we also talked about the old. I was talking about using a piece of pizza for a hot dog bun, and we got tagged by our boy Kevin Collingham from Canada.
I saw that.
Yeah, he said he hits me up. He said, "Hey, you guys talked about this, right?" Yep. And he goes, "Check it." He sends me a picture.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he's like, I didn't have any hot dog buns, so I improvised and he had a personal pan pizza and wrapped his hot dog in it.
Yeah, man. I've done that a lot of times too with if you have a bunch of leftover hot dogs from a cookout or sausages, and if you do have pizza or anything that, you could put meat on anything. I'll take the hot dogs and I'll cut them all up and stuff. Then I'll put them on the pizza. Then I'll throw some shredded cheese or mozzarella on top of that.
Mozzarella.
Then when I heat it up in the microwave and stuff, then it's got more meat content compared to what was actually there.
Yeah. Yep. And one last shout out I want to give is Miss Rebecca Bush. $50 in the tip jar.
Dude.
Hell yeah. Thank you so freaking much for that, because
that's awesome.
As I say, guys, all that money literally just goes into better equipment, better recording. It helps us not run ads, because we feel that we do put out some valuable content. And so if you get value out of it, we appreciate whenever you put in the tip jar, whether it's $1, $5, $10, whatever. It helps us out, and we're able to just make the show better. I mean, we've spent thousands of dollars in equipment. We still have thousands of dollars of equipment we want to buy to continue to make the show better. So we appreciate it whenever you leave a tip in the tip jar. It helps us out a lot. And also other ways to support us if you don't want to just give us money like that. We got t-shirts for sale. And we're going to have more stuff for sale in the future. Also, training programs is really where Dirty and Driven makes its money. Helping you figure out a custom training program for your company. Also, just if you want personal one-on-one coaching, we do that as well. I know I don't advertise it very much. It's kind of on purpose, but we do have that. We don't run ads on the show too much or for the show. Not saying we're never going to do either of those, but for right now, we don't do that. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, that's enough of that bullshit.
You mentioned one thing the other day to me, aside from the recording, that I didn't realize an expense was, what is it, the bandwidth?
Yeah. Just hosting the show. You got to pay so much money just to put your show on the website that I upload it to, and it pushes it out to everything.
Right. Yeah. So that was something I didn't realize.
There's a lot of tiny expenses, dude. I mean, just no equipment or anything, it costs, probably close to $100 a month to put on a good quality podcast.
Well,
And not including any equipment or just to upload it, spread it out, website, because you got to pay so much to host your website and your domain name. And, you got to put it on your hosting platform where you actually upload the show. And there's different hosting platforms, different prices. This one was recommended to me by a friend who's a co-host on a ginormous podcast. And I said, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Yeah. There's other options, but yeah, dude, there's a lot of little things that just monthly charges and things that people don't think about.
I think our main next expense that we're heading towards, especially with this tip money, is getting video, right?
Yeah. Video is the next thing. I'm actually selling a truck. I've been talking about selling this truck forever, dude. But it's for sale on Facebook right now. It's getting blown up. So if you want to buy a 1995 hard body Nissan freaking badass truck, chick magnet, if you're married, it's on Facebook, dude. Facebook Marketplace, Ponca City, buy, sell, beg, barter, trade. Make me an offer I can't refuse if it's not sold by the time this airs, because it's I'm getting a lot of messages, but I mean, ain't no money changed hands yet.
Why don't you sell it to the Dirty and Driven podcast and use that as your commuter to and fro the studio?
Mainly because the Dirty and Driven podcast didn't have any money.
Dude, that's a write-off. That's the only thing I know right there.
Yeah. No, dude, I want to sell it so we can get more equipment. I mean, that was kind of the plan with all this audio equipment, but I kind of just got to the point where I was like, screw it, dude, whatever. Because the truck had to go to the shop for a little while, get the AC fixed and some other crap in the shop. Took forever to fix it.
The AC is going to get fixed by the time winter rolls around.
AC's fixed.
Yeah.
It blows cold air now, man. Everything, that is probably the nicest 1995 Nissan hardbody you're going to find. I mean, no rips in the seats. It looks clean. Very few dents in the body.
In 2 more years, is it going to be a classic? When did they make classic? When is classic a classic? Is it 30 years?
I think 40? It's 25, 30. Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know.
So it might be a classic here soon.
Yeah, dude. So get it before the value really jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's no computers in that thing.
Nope. There's a cassette player, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it out, blow on it, rewind it,
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, so yeah, thanks for the tip money, and we're just trying to keep growing the show, so we're going to keep doing that. But that being said, we are going to do a call-in episode here in the next few weeks. We're just trying to figure out the date to do it. We want to get video for that. We are taking sponsors for the call-in episode, so if you want to be a sponsor on that call-in episode, just hit us up, and we'll work something out, because that's going to be a fun episode. And we definitely want to get some cool traction with that. But also, we had our boy EJ Heron on Friday, and Casey had a pretty funny story about GPS, because EJ talked a lot about GPS and technology and construction and all that crazy stuff. So what was your GPS story?
Well, before that story, just the advancement of technology nowadays. Like, you've heard of LiDAR. Have you heard of LiDAR?
Yeah.
Like land imaging something radar.
Yeah, I listened to a big podcast on Joe Rogan where they talked about that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the same what they're talking about, but they're showing like in Central America and South America, they'll fly over densely forested areas.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
And it'll pretty much
about.
shoot down through the trees, and it'll show the topography of pyramids and stuff that they didn't know existed, structures. But with that being said, it's just cool how LiDAR is, or not LiDAR, but technology is being utilized at literally the speed of light nowadays with drone footage and what you can attach on drones with imaging and all that shit. Well, rewind back to the early 2000s. My brother, I spoke about him a few times, but my brother had a gig. He was pretty much the personal bodyguard for a CEO of an oil company.
Yeah.
And my brother lived down in Houston, and he told me about his job and stuff. And he told me that he drove a Bulletproof BMW to drive the CEO around whenever he needed, whether they're on the way to the airport and whatnot. And so I went down to visit my brother, and he got to drive this BMW to his house and park it in the house. Well, whenever got to his house, went in his garage, and he showed me this, I don't know what series. I don't know anything about BMW, like a 700 series. It was a stretched 4-door BMW.
Did it have windshield wiper blades on the headlights?
No.
There's a Mercedes I see at the gym every day that has the little 3-inch wiper blades on the headlights. It's badass.
I didn't check the headlights. But I was like, dude, this is sweet. I know nothing about cars. He goes, open that door. So I went and opened the driver's side door, and when I did, it opened smooth, but you could feel the weight in the door. And he said, dude, this is totally bulletproof, man. So you could feel the weight, but it opened smooth. Then he pointed on the dash. He said, he goes, you see that on the dash right there? I go, yeah. And this thing was probably a little 3-inch by 5-inch, about the size of a phone, maybe on the dash. I go, what is that? He goes, that's what they call a, it's called a GPS. I go, no shit. What's a GPS? He goes, it's a global positioning satellite or something. I go, okay, whoa, what's that? He goes, well, that can tell you like a map. It kind of tells you directions and kind of, it's like, no shit, dude, that is badass, man. And you know, of course, that was 20 years ago. And then today we've got drones and satellites and stuff that can scan from the sky, and they're having Wi-Fi now that can look through walls and see people on the other side of walls and all types of shit.
Yeah. Glasses that you can see people's underwear.
Neuralink.
Yeah.
The Boring Company.
There's a lot of cool shit.
It's crazy just the advancement of technology, how you would never fathom something 5 years, 10 years, just how it's accelerated.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to know that in like 5 years, it's like you get something that's the latest and greatest and you're like, wow. And then a year, 2, 3 years from now, it's like, dang, dude, it's time to upgrade. This sucks. Like a TV. Like you buy a TV. My dad just recently upgraded his TV. He had the same one for like 12 years. You know, he bought this, at the time, state-of-the-art, flat screen, 1080p HD, like 60-inch TV. And he's like, oh, holy shit, this is awesome. You know, and he finally upgraded it like a couple months ago. And I mean, it's just night and day, even still.
Is that the one that I own?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Pretty much a one-man job compared to a 2 or 3 man job trying to hold it.
Yeah.
You know, the old, you don't know the real pain until you had to move a picture tube or something like the old.
Those big square ones?
Yeah, the big square ones with the ornate stuff on the side, the woodwork on the side of a picture tube TV.
Oh, I've moved those, dude. That was still my generation.
Well, yeah, but before your generations when they came out, and just the pain of those. Yeah. And they were limited to, 3 or 4 channels.
I caught them tail end. Yeah. They were kind of going out of style as I was old enough to really remember. But like, you know what, like my age was like the age of the parents were getting the real flat screen and they were starting to give those old picture tubes to the kids' room or something. So they were still around, but now about nobody has them.
Yeah, back then the government could control what you saw because you were limited to like 3 channels, 3 or 5. So I mean, it is so they can get their propaganda out. It was Wheel of Fortune, Mid-South Wrestling was another one, and then the cartoons and stuff. But that was pretty much it. And then the propaganda, whatever 1 or 2 news organizations were back then. What?
They still get that out though.
Yeah,
plenty. Well, man, let's dive into today's topic. Old Colton just texted me and said, "What's Sunday night? As we're recording?" He said,
so
"Going on live? YouTube live here in 30 minutes. If I send you a link, you want to hop on?" I said, "Hell yeah, we do."
Oh yeah,
so,
here we go.
Let's get our topic done, so that way we can hop on with him. So, dude, I was talking to one of our partners, and he was just telling me about how much leverage a good, skilled worker has right now. So he calls me up and he goes, "Dude, you're not gonna believe this shit." He goes, I had 2 workers, skilled carpenters, that I wanted to hire. And he goes, I know them. I know what they're capable of. I'm very familiar with their work. And he said, I bring these 2 guys in, interview them. And he said, I was fully well prepared to pay these guys $35 an hour each. And he said, all right, I will pay you both $35 an hour each, which, I mean, especially in our area, dude, that's good money. And he's like, he said, I was trying to like oversell him. I was trying to really give him something that they looked at him stone cold dead in the eyes and they said, no, we want $45 each plus you fill our truck up every week. And I said, holy shit. He goes, yeah, dude, I just was awestruck at that counter offer. And I was like, what'd you say? He said, I said, fuck yeah. He's like, I had no other choice. He's like, I need these guys to grow. He's like, I've just got so much going on. He goes, I have a lot of good guys. And he was like, but I just needed a couple experienced guys to hop on to help me knock out these jobs because I'm turning jobs away left and right. I mean, and he does bad ass jobs. Mm-hmm. I mean, he is one of the highest quality contractors I know. And I mean, the work he does is unreal. And he goes, I just needed a couple guys because my younger guys still aren't quite trained up enough. So I needed to bring these guys in to help. And he goes, they have the leverage over me. He's like, I can't do anything. I can't tell these guys no because I need them. So they shot me that offer. And he goes, now I've got to give my other guys a raise because my other experienced guys, I don't want them to sit there and say, oh, why are you bringing these new guys on at more than I'm worth? So he's like, I got to pay a couple of my guys more too. And he's like, it's just crazy the leverage they have. Otherwise, they're going to go somewhere else because someone else will pay that.
Yeah.
So I just want to talk about leverage. So kind of the stuff that I want to hit on is, as a skilled worker, how much leverage you can have, how employers really don't have that much leverage anymore, your average employer. But I do want to touch on how you can establish leverage either as an employer or as an individual, because I think it's good to talk about both, because we have both business owners and we have individuals that listen to this. So anyways, man, I mean, your skills, obviously we talk about this all the time. Blue collar skills are becoming more and more in demand. Okay. As we go, people will pay anything. Like right now, trying to get a hold of a plumber, dude, you can't even hardly get a call back. They're so busy. So people, they get mad whenever like a plumber comes in or an electrician comes in, they do something kind of minor and then they charge a big bill. And then it's like, oh, well, shit, I can't believe that. And it's like, yeah, but who else was going to fix that? So you have a lot of leverage, but you have to learn that skill. Like if you're 19 years old and you have little to no experience, you can't walk in and say, oh, well, I want $35 an hour, because most people are going to say, hit the road, bud. That is where employers still have a little bit of leverage, is over your new guys. But that's where employers can really gain leverage, is by being a badass employer. If you're a very average employer and you're a dime a dozen employer, your people, you have no culture. It's not really that incentivizing to work for you. Your people are, maybe they're decently happy, but you have a fairly steady turnover rate. You don't train your people for real. Man, you're not going to have that much leverage over your people, because they're going to say, hey, I'm ready to go. Unless you want to pay me more, I'm not going to stick around. Then a lot of guys just say, see ya. But if you're an employer and you want to keep a guy around, especially if he's sitting there saying, well, dude, I want $10 more an hour, because most guys can't afford to just say, okay, yeah, I'm going to give you a $10 an hour raise out of nowhere. You've got to give them a reason to want to stay, whether that be just a strong culture, a solid training program, solid advancement program, solid incentive to keep working for you, whether that be in the form of bonuses or extras or perks or, different things. Unless you have that stuff, your guys are going to look at another company and say, that company is pretty much the same exact company as you. I'm going to go over there for more money. But if you have a solid culture put in place and it's a place that people are happy to show up and work at, you got to keep the emotional aspect in mind. If it's a place that people are happy to show up to and they're happy to work at and they want to be there, that's worth more than a lot.
Yeah, dude. I think that's another beneficial part with the employer, is to know the pulse of everyone around. And ideally, you don't have a bad apple or two that's shitting in the punch bowl, causing people to have bad attitudes, especially about their wages or the direction of the company, man. If you can, and the best way to make people happy is to pay them.
Yeah.
I do know, like, the company that I'm at, if they're looking to hire a potential employee, they'll have a price that they'll put on the table to offer that employee that they can offer themselves. All right, we're going to hire you for $26 an hour, $28 an hour, plus all the benefits and stuff, whatever. Now, the kicker is, and if you're looking to maybe transfer to a different job or leave the company and go to a different job, that the initial offer a lot of times isn't the final offer or isn't the set in stone what you could potentially get paid.
Mm-hmm. It starts a conversation.
But like when I got hired, I was so elated. I got hired for $18 an hour back in 2008, where I'm at for $18 an hour, dude. And I was beside myself because I had benefits. I could finally, we could, there was a lot of good deals for me and my family that was the shiznit, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to lose the potential job, but I could have. No, I'd like to make 22 an hour, and then. So what would happen is if I would have thrown back a counter offer to it, and you throw back the counter offer to the hiring body, a lot of times they might be able to go up to 22 an hour. This is instance for me. They might be able to go from the 18 to 22 an hour on the spot. All right, we'll do 22 an hour, Casey. You're the man. But if it was higher than that, they can't do that. Then they have to get with HR. Mm-hmm. Then they have to go to HR and battle for you. All right, dude, this guy's kick ass. He's got 10 years of experience in this field, this, and that. We need to get him 26 an hour, dude. We cannot lose this guy. So there is potential to even get more, as kind of like what those guys did, going from the $35 to $45 an hour.
But so I had an employer tell me this story before. He had a guy come in, and he was a loader operator. And he said, yeah, dude, I want $28 an hour as a loader operator. And the employer looked at him and he said, I'm willing to pay you $28 as a loader operator, but you better be worth $28 as a loader operator. He said, I know the difference between a $28 an hour loader operator and a $24 an hour loader operator. And he said, if you're going to demand $28 an hour, I'll pay you $28 an hour. But at the end of your 60-day evaluation, if you're not worth $28 an hour, you're either getting a demotion or you're getting fired for lying to me.
No, he should have had a probationary pay for the 60-day period.
We'll get
and
this.
Then went to that.
So that's what this guy told him. And then the employee said, okay. And then they came back and then he said, I've been thinking about it and I'll take the $24 an hour.
Yeah. So he knew his worth.
He knew that, he knew his worth, which is great. I mean, that's where you want to be, really. I mean, if you're going to leverage people, you have to know your worth, because nothing's going to piss someone off more if you say, well, I want 45 instead of 35, and you show up and you just fucking suck. I mean, you're lazy, you're cocky, and you think, oh, man. And this is where people lose their leverage, is they know that they're good and they know that they have skills, but they get lazy and they get arrogant.
Yeah.
And then they start thinking, well, this place couldn't run without me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the boss, and then they start spreading. And that's where a strong culture in a company gains leverage, because the culture will weed that crap out real quick.
Yeah.
And if that guy starts doing that, you either plead and just try to keep that guy happy so he'll stick around, or you just say, you know what, dude, see ya. Because that guy's eventually going to drive other people off, because they're going to say, man, he's the highest paid guy out here. I'm working twice as hard as him. And this is bullshit. And you're going to have other good guys quit because you have one bad egg in there.
Yeah, we've had those instances to where we've had technicians or operators come in to where I'm at with supposed 10 years experience, 15 years experience in that field. So when they come in with that experience, then they get X amount of dollars compared to the entry level, because they supposedly had that experience, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you've got that? Yeah, dude, I've been working on this, this and that for this long. Shit, okay. So then they get that higher dollar. Then they come in. For one, they got a bad attitude. They ain't worth a shit. And then the word starts going around that he got hired in for $5 an hour more than what I'm making, and I've been here 10 years, and I'm twice the worker this damn guy is.
Exactly.
Then it just spreads like a cancer. Like, dude, this is some fucking bullshit, dude.
Yeah. Well, and that's where my buddy did it right with, like, his other guys that were up there. He's like, well, I'm going to bump these guys up too. because I don't want them to get mad and say, well, shit, I'm making 35, which I'm happy with. I've been happy with, but now this guy's making 45 and I've worked here way longer and done this and done, and so you got to keep your people happy.
Yeah, dude, it's tough. That's why it's tough owning your business, man. You got to be able to make them decisions.
Yeah. But as an employer, going back, so you were talking about, well, you can have leverage by offering people more money, this, that. Dude, that's actually not always the case anymore, especially with the younger generation, because if you get some of those older guys, yeah. But people my age, man, you're hard workers. And people say kids don't want to work. Well, that's people who don't have leverage over their employees. That's people who are not investing in the next generation. They're just relying on getting people with experience and only getting people with experience, which I have opinions about that. I think that there's a lot of people who have shitty experience. They have a lot of years of experience, but it's not good experience. And it's not experience in what you specifically do. I mean, sometimes you get a good guy like that, but they still have to mesh and mold to your crew and your way of doing things, because every company does things different. Every company moves dirt different. Every company lays asphalt different. Every company trucks differently. Everybody does things differently, and they have different thought processes. So they might come in and say, well, this is the way I did it. And it may be totally different, and not even necessarily saying it's wrong, but it's just different. So you have to keep that stuff in mind. But I think in the hiring process is where you can really gain the leverage. I mean, instead of harping on all the time, we pay this much and we'll pay, we pay, but saying, hey man, at this company, we actually care about you. You're not just a number on a bid sheet. Like, we give you good PTO. We want you to have time off. We want you to be able to take PTO. We don't work the absolute dog shit out of you. Or sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's, yeah, man, because I got in trouble for this on Instagram the other day talking about work-life balance type stuff. Like, I think that you should pay a guy a little bit more and work him less hours, because I promise that a guy that's working 14 hours a day every single day, or at least 5 days a week, 6 days a week, he's probably not putting out everything he can. But if you have a crew that works 10 hours a day, they're probably actually doing this similar production to those 14-hour guys if they coordinate everything right and do everything right and just bust their asses.
Yeah, it's tough to measure that, though.
It is, but...
you could get in a rut trying to get something done.
Well, there's situations.
But listen to this real quick. You can get in a rut trying to get something done. God, beat your head against the wall, and you're taking up time. You're screwing around. Then if you walk away for 30 minutes, cool down and come, then you get it knocked out real quick. Yeah. There's situational stuff. Well,
right. And I get it. You hit a water line at 5 o'clock on a Friday and you got to stay till 9 p.m. That happens, dude. Yeah. Where I'm talking about is, like, I said that, I made a post about it, and then one guy commented, he said, dude, I travel for work. I don't want to work 8 to 10 hours. I want 12s. I want 13s. He's like, I want, which I get that. If you're traveling, and you're away from your family, you want to get the max payload. You want to get the most out of that day. And I totally get that.
There to make money.
But you can leverage people by maximizing efficiency.
Yeah.
If you're an employer who maximizes, hey, I care about you as an individual. Okay, you're struggling with something. Let's talk about it. Let's walk through it. Okay, your family life's bad. All right, you know what, dude? I want you to take care of that. I'm going to pay you for a couple days off. Go take care of what you need to take care of. Like, I get it. Your mom died. Your wife left you. Like, there's some things you got to handle. All right. A lot of people, they just say, dude, you got to figure that out on your own time. We ain't got time. The company ain't got time for that. And those people quit, man. And you can lose a lot of good guys doing that. Now, obviously, you can't let someone do that all the freaking time. You can't let people take advantage of you. Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you be soft, but it's just, you prioritize your employees. People over profit is, and the profit will come. If you put people over profit, you will make more profit. I promise you. But you have to put your people first. And if you're a company who puts their people first and makes people feel welcome and makes them want to be there, and they don't get out of bed, oh my gosh, I fucking hate, I don't want to go to work. I hit snooze 8 times. You want a guy who shows up and he's happy to be there.
Yeah.
And you establish that. It starts at the top and it works its way down.
And he's got to be able to mesh. You mentioned a good point about, it'd be great if you have someone that's willing to learn, but you need someone that's going to mesh with his coworkers. And I've got a quick little story with this. I've been wanting to tell on the past episodes. I just keep forgetting, haven't found a good in on it.
Okay.
But and a lot of times it's about vetting the right person. whether during the interview process you take them out to lunch, maybe have the guys show them around the unit, and that way the guys are kind of getting a feel just kind of how the pulse of this guy is. And this quick little story I want to tell, this thing really, really hits home with hiring the right guy. And the story is from Robert O'Neill. Have you heard of him?
I think
He
so.
wrote the book, The Operator. He's supposedly the guy that killed bin Laden. Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
And he was on SEAL Team 6. Well, he explains a story, and I'm going to try to make it real quick. He explains a story that in the SEAL teams, and I might butcher this for all you SEAL team people out there, the East Coast and West Coast, like the East Coast is the odd numbers, like 1, 3, 5, 7. SEAL Team 1, 3, 5, and 7.
Oh, interesting.
And then the opposite is, the 4, 8, 10, or just it's something like that. Well, he had busted his ass and he made it to like SEAL Team 5 or something. He was the cream de la cream. He was in Germany, all over the world, doing all these special missions and stuff, hanging out with the baddest of the badass guys. Well, when he was with the baddest of the badass guys, he said one time they were walking down the streets of, I could just make up a name, like Germany or London or somewhere, and they looked across and there were some Americans across the street to where the SEAL team that he was with looked at these Americans, are Americans, and he's like, dude, those are some bad motherfuckers, dude. Who are these guys? And the guys are like, dude, that's SEAL Team 6, dude. Oh, no shit, dude. How do I get on there? And the way that he got on SEAL Team 6 is you have to be nominated by your SEAL team. You have to be nominated as the badass dude to go try out and be on SEAL Team 6.
Oh, wow.
So it takes the best of the best and puts them on SEAL Team 6. So he gets his opportunity to go try out for SEAL Team 6. And like he said, SEAL Team 6 isn't about, the training and the tactics and all that shit, because everybody on SEAL Team 6 knows all the tactics.
Right.
They're all trained. But the main deal was to see how he would mesh with this, if he would fit in as a brotherhood, if he would fit in for these guys, right?
Yeah.
So I think he said it was 2 months. He pretty much ran with these guys. They kind of, just went and hung out and drank beers, shot the shit. They went town to town, and they just wanted to really see if he was going to be the guy that could be there for him whenever shit hit the fan.
Right.
Hence, the reason why I told the story was the vetting process. They were just vetting to see if he would mesh good with the group and not be a shitty guy that would, because if he would have been shitty or not mesh, they wouldn't even have had him on the team or the company or, whatever company is looking to potentially hire somebody.
Yeah, and that's where you build a lot of leverage as an employer, because the employers that have an established culture, that they define their culture, and they've got core values, and they've got a mission statement, and they've got a way that they can pretty much hire and fire off of. They say, this is what we stand for, this is what we do, especially if you can have a guy come hang out, work with you, see how he feels, pass the sniff test. That's a great way to get leverage as an employer, is just saying, hey, do you blend in? Do you mesh with these guys? Because if you do, then it's probably fun for everybody. And then you're going to say, yeah, dude, I want to work here. I really want to work here. You can only afford to pay me $20 instead of $22. Screw it, dude. I want to work here. This is way better. Like, I know that in the long run, this is going to pay off for me, because I know eventually you're going to be able to pay me what I want to get paid. And then you're going to get quality experience. And that's how you build leverage as an employer, is exactly what you're talking about.
And talking about leveraging too is, if you're the potential employee looking for the job, you can leverage a good attitude, a good smile, a good firm handshake.
Yes.
Just that right there, as I spoke before, you're selling yourself just with being a decent person.
Presentability is big.
Yeah.
And if you want help establishing a culture in your company, hit us up. That's literally what I nerd out about, man. That is the cream of Dirty and Driven, I guess.
That's what I said. I said creme de la creme.
The creme de la creme. That's where we specialize. So hit us up if you want to do that, man. I'm very happy to work with you on that. And then as an individual, man, it's just like you're saying, like, you've got to be able to back up what you're saying, whether that just be you go out there and you do some stuff, you've got skills, like, you're a cool dude. I mean, you might be the best operator in the world, but I'm sorry, if you pull in and you're a cocky, arrogant sumbitch. I've worked with great operators, but they're the most arrogant, lying, deceitful, most miserable people to be around, and they're not worth having out there. Like, yeah, okay, you can move a machine really well, but dude, everybody fucking hates you and nobody wants to work with you, so everybody quits.
And those type of people too are the types that get somebody hurt or killed too. with those type of attitudes.
Because they don't give a shit about anybody but themselves. So you don't want to be that person. Yeah, you just want to develop skills. Like, go take experiences, humble yourself some. Okay? Don't walk in and automatically say, well, I've got a good work ethic, I'm worth blah, blah, blah. Just walk in, get experience, go after it, do some entry-level jobs, eat shit for a while, because that's part of it, especially if you're new to the industry, and prove yourself. And then if you're working for one company, eventually you're going to say, look, man, I know my worth. And don't be afraid to have the conversation with someone. Say, look, man, I know my worth. Are you willing to pay me a little more? And they might say, yeah. Or they might say, well, dude, it's company policy. We have it written in our handbook that this is whenever you get a raise and how much it'll be and blah, blah, blah. And then you just say, all right, well, I'm going to go across the street and they're going to pay me $3 more an hour. They're cooler to work with and I know my worth. So I'm going to go do that. And you know what? Sometimes people really screw up doing that, but that's where you have to humble yourself enough to know what you're actually worth. Because I've seen people do that. They try to leverage a company and then they go work for somewhere else and somewhere else sucks. Yeah. And then they come crawling back. Yeah. I mean, so you got to do your research and you got to know how to do that. But yeah, to get to that point is just humbling yourself for a while, not trying to use your leverage too quick, and proving yourself and being a cool person, someone that people want to be around. Because if you're a soul sucker, no one's going to want to be around you.
And there's some people that instead of staying with one job their whole career, every 3 or 4 years they'll use that leverage to get them a better job somewhere else and to keep saying it, just bump, and move up the ladder that way.
Yeah, and some people are really good at that. Yeah. And that's different, I mean, than the guy that changes jobs every 6 months. I mean, I know one kid who does that. He changes jobs every few months. He goes somewhere, he makes a good paycheck for a while. He's talented, operator, truck driver, everything. On paper, he's a great candidate, but he just gets tired of somewhere and he moves on to the next. And it's like, dude, you can't do this forever.
That gets tough for me, man.
You run out of places to work.
Yeah, I'm comfortable where I'm at, and that would be tough for me if the potential person hiring me. How long you been at the previous company? 2.5 years. What about the previous company before that? 3 years. What about they can pretty much tell it. Yeah. I'm going to be another 2.5, 3 year guy because I have no commitment to the company that I'm at.
Yeah, but that's where you have to be a company that guys don't want to leave.
Yeah,
and that's where you have to put yourself above anyone else and blow, especially a guy that's worked at a lot of places.
Blow
blow him out of the water, dude.
Oh, okay.
That was a bad place to stop.
That was like the hanging Chad there in Florida. You ever hear the hanging Chad? That was during, I can't remember which election that it was, but they were looking at the ballots and the way that the ballots were written in on one of the candidates. It was a hanging Chad. It was the way it was scribbled in.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, anyways, man, we got a live YouTube to hop on here with Colton. So Sundays at 6, Certified Wrench does their YouTube lives. So he calls it Sausage Sundays. So I guess we're the perfect candidates for that.
Yeah, that's something I can get behind right there.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you like the show, be sure to give us a 5-star review, drop a tip in the tip jar. And if you want a free sticker, all you got to do is DM, email, reach out on our website, the word sticker, and we'll get you a sticker mailed anywhere in the world.
Look for KCD369.
Yep. At Dirty and Driven, at KCD369. If you want to follow my personal stuff, at JL Deviney. One last thing, Dirty and Driven Athletics. This Saturday, August 26th, 2023, is the Dirty and Driven Olympic Triathlon. I'm just doing an Olympic triathlon on my own. Casey, a few months ago, said I signed up to run one with my buddy, and then I got really sick, and I wasn't able to do it. So I was like, well, man, I guess I'm not going to do it. And Casey's like, don't be a bitch, just do one. And so, I was like, you know what, you're right. So August 26th, I'm doing it alone. But what I do want to challenge everybody is do something hard that day, man. Just know that I'm sweating. I'm raising awareness for mental and physical health in the construction industry. We want you to be strong. We want you to take care of your body. And we want you to be a kick-ass individual. And we don't want you fucking living out of a hospital bed whenever you're 60 years old. Okay? I want you guys to work as long as you can. I want you to enjoy going to work. I don't want you being dilapidated and crippled. And I want you to not want to blow your brains out at the end of the day, too. So, I'm raising awareness for that. So please come out wherever you're at in the world. Put it on your calendar and just do something hard. Just know that while you're sweating, I'm sweating.
Yeah, do something hard physically or mentally. Even no matter if you're 30 years old or 80 years old, that's going to do nothing but better yourself. If you just coast along, that's not benefiting you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, go for a 15-minute walk. Do it intentionally. Ride a bike. Go to the gym for the first time. Drink 3 beers instead of 6 beers. I mean, just challenge yourself to be better that day. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, like my old framing boss used to say, he'd be like, well, if it was easy, our wife and kids would be doing it.
Yeah, dude. So just know we're out here. Anyways, Casey, you got any final thoughts?
By God.
By God.